The numbers don't even feel real anymore, do they? Million? Cute? Billion? Cool. But trillion? That's a word that sounds like it was invented by a kid trying to win an argument on a playground. And whenever the internet starts obsessing over who's going to cross that historic trillion-dollar finish line first, one specific name hits the algorithm like a tidal wave: Elon Musk. The media loves selling you this romantic little bedtime story. You know the one, the relentless, sleep-deprived genius working 20 hours a day to save humanity. It's beautiful, it makes great headlines. But let's be completely honest with each other for a second. What if the real story has absolutely nothing to do with the genius, the rockets, or the electric cars? What if, behind all that cinematic spectacle, there's just a quiet, terrifyingly effective financial machine humming away in the background? A machine built not on a dirty factory floor, but on stock exchanges and in closed boardrooms, engineered to do one specific thing: concentrate wealth on a scale that human history has never seen before. See, this isn't a biography of a billionaire. Think of this as pulling back the velvet curtain on an economic architecture that is silently rewriting the rules of reality. We're going to break down the 7 hidden reasons behind the system. It's the blueprint for a new kind of empire. And trust me, by the time we hit the final reason, you'll realize you aren't just watching history, you're paying for it. Welcome to Capital Lion. Let's decode the matrix. Reason number 1 has absolutely nothing to do with cash, gold, or bank vaults. It's about something far more valuable, something you are giving away right now: your attention. Modern stock markets don't just price assets anymore, they price narratives. They price memes. They literally put a dollar value on the collective mood of millions of people scrolling on their phones at 2 a.m. And Elon, he isn't just playing this game, he owns the casino. With a single late-night post on X, he can send a joke cryptocurrency to the moon or instantly wipe billions off his own company's market value. Think about how wild that actually is. The life savings and financial hopes of thousands of ordinary retail investors can be completely manipulated because one guy decided to post a meme while sitting in his sweatpants. And here's the kicker: this attention is a raw material that you and I provide for free. Every single reply, every angry quote tweet, every midnight debate you have in the comment section, it's all unpaid manual labor. You are feeding a massive corporate engine that turns your emotional energy into market volatility. And that volatility, that's the ultimate playground where his institutional wealth thrives. You think you're just consuming content, but congratulations, you're actually an unsalaried employee. Now, reason number 2 is where all that free emotional energy is forged into cold, hard corporate power. Musk's fortune isn't a safe, boring, diversified portfolio. He hasn't invested in real estate index funds or index trackers like your local financial advisor tells you to do. It's a hyper-concentrated, high-stakes bet on stories he completely controls, mainly Tesla and SpaceX. And the financial setup here is beautifully manipulative. Musk famously doesn't take a regular salary from Tesla. He doesn't get a bi-weekly paycheck. Instead, his legendary compensation plan was a massive, historic grant of stock options tied to hitting absolutely ridiculous market value targets. The logic here is genuinely mind-bending. If Musk, using his unmatched personal brand, could pump the narrative and drive up the stock price, he'd be awarded the right to buy millions of brand new shares for an absolute fraction of their market price. It's a perfect, infinite feedback loop. The hype drives the stock triggers the payout signals to the world that everything is going fantastic, which drives the stock even higher. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy written down in public SEC filings. He didn't build a ladder to wealth, he engineered an automated elevator. By the time we hit reason number 3, you have to realize that his companies are not separate businesses operating in different silos. They are chapters in a single, interlocking cinematic universe of belief. Each company's grand sci-fi vision exists to make the other companies look completely invincible. I mean, ask yourself, is Tesla just a car company? If you look at the raw numbers of cars delivered, its valuation makes absolutely zero mathematical sense. But the story says it's an AI and robotics powerhouse that's about to solve full self-driving any day now. Convenient, right? Is SpaceX just a rocket company burning cash every time a booster test pops? No, the story says it's the holy grail of making humanity multi-planetary. Is X just a social media platform losing corporate advertisers? Absolutely not. It's the foundation for a mystical everything app. This creates a flawless narrative defense shield. Whenever one company faces intense criticism or a bad quarterly report, the mind-boggling vision of another is deployed to remind everyone of the bigger picture. You aren't just buying a stock ticker, you're buying a ticket to a sci-fi cinematic universe. You either buy into the whole story, or you're left behind in the dark. Reason number 4 is where the game shifts from printing paper wealth to cementing absolute geopolitical power. This is about owning the toll roads of the global economy, communication, energy, and transit. Take Starlink. It's not just satellite internet for rural cabins, it's a critical tool of global geopolitics. During major conflicts, the unilateral power to give or cut off internet access became a matter of national security. Think about that. The operational capability of armies in a war zone was dependent on the decisions of a single private corporation. The exact same logic applies to Tesla's supercharger network, setting the universal standard that almost every other legacy automaker is now forced to adopt. When you control the network, your users stop looking like customers and start looking like dependents. The goal isn't just to sell a product, it's to own the platform the modern world is forced to run on. Look, if you're starting to see the blueprint behind the headlines, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button right now. We don't just report the news here at Capital Ion, we decode the machine that makes it. Stick around, because the next 3 reasons get flat out terrifying. Let's keep digging. With the narrative and physical infrastructure locked in place, we hit reason number 5, the systematic distortion of the wider economy. Musk's projects act like a financial black hole, violently sucking in capital, elite talent, and media oxygen away from everything else. Venture capital is supposed to fund thousands of diverse ideas, but when a few massive moonshot stories dominate the public consciousness, why would a greedy investor fund a small, practical local business? Brilliant young engineers who could have started their own revolutionary companies are instead pulled directly into his corporate orbit. Capital markets aren't neutral, they follow the loudest story. And right now, that vortex leaves very little oxygen for anyone else. Reason number 6 brings us to the ultimate magic trick of financial engineering. In his compensation plan, Musk was given the right to buy Tesla shares at a fraction of their value as long as the company hit its targets. When the stock shot up, that right became worth tens of billions. But here's the second part of the trick. You don't even have to sell the stock to get rich. What the ultra-wealthy actually do is borrow massive amounts of liquid cash from elite banks, using their massive stock portfolios as collateral. It's a beautifully rigged system of phantom wealth. You live a life of luxury off borrowed money, all while legally delaying the massive tax bill that would hit if you actually sold those shares. The average taxpayer isn't even invited to this game. And that brings us to the end game. Reason number 7. This is where wealth stops being about money and starts looking a lot like a form of government. When a single person's net worth rivals the GDP of multiple sovereign nations, and that fortune is tied directly to critical global infrastructure, the line between a corporation and a state gets completely erased. A $1 trillion net worth isn't a scorecard for ego. It is the raw power to influence national legislation, buy digital town squares, and hold leverage over democratically elected governments. Slowly, the citizen becomes a user. Your communication network? Starlink. Your public square? X. Your autonomous transit? Tesla. All owned by companies tying back to the exact same centralized point of authority. You participate not by right of citizenship, but by corporate permission. It stops looking like a business empire and starts looking like a private, for-profit operating system for society. So, the great deception here isn't that Elon Musk is incredibly rich. Good for him. The real deception is that we've been sold this entire reality as a simple story about one man's singular genius. It's not. It's a ruthless piece of financial architecture designed to concentrate wealth and power into a single point. We've been so mesmerized by the flashing lights of the rockets that we forgot to read the fine print at the bottom of the contract. Think about it. We'll see you in the next boardroom breakdown.